Hello, this is Mary Kay Jolly, and I'm doing a Zoom art class today. I'd like to thank everyone for joining me, and we're going to be painting a scene from a Zoltan Szabo book, and we're going to be lifting white branches with scraping tools. So the first thing I'm going to do is wet my whole paper. When I lift it up, I can see the spots I've missed. I can see how much water is on there. I'm going to wipe off my edges. So I am going to start with French ultramarine glue. I'm going to put a little bit of sky up there. I squished out some paint so it's easy for me to get a lot of paint. And that's just, well, actually, I guess there's enough colors in it that from my puddle that it's not too bright blue. I'm making you guys dizzy. There, that's a good spot right there. So, so it's not too bright. I am going to put just a tiny bit of permanent rose in it to purpley it up. And I'm going to start up here. It's so pale because so much water's on my paper already.
Kitties.
There's no drawing in this. It's just free painting, really. I'm going to go a little darker. Maybe I'll add a little burnt sienna in that. Whoa, that was a lot. Went totally brown on me. Now I'll make a lot of paint now. Whoa. Okay. I'll just use that. It's going to be, look at that. The red spots in my sky. Then if I have that much color at the top of the sky, I need to have this in the bottom of my water. It's already drying. So that's a very different color than is in the photograph and the other paintings, but that's what happens sometimes. What I'm going to do now is get a little bit of Antwerp. And put it in this part of the sky so it looks more like not so cloudy. You know, if I have Antwerp in there, I need it down here in the water. Now what I'm going to do is take raw sienna. I haven't used raw sienna much, especially this whole summer. I didn't use. Oh, I guess I did a little bit on the beaches. And I'm going to make it nice and thick. And I have fresh paint out, so it's coming right up. I don't have to scrub in my little puddle to get a bunch of paint. And I'm going to think where so I want to do start putting this about, I'm going to have 2/3 water and 1/3 sky and trees and mountains. Go right over the blue. Getting kind of dirty.
And I think that's on the picture you were asking about.
What was that, burnt sienna or raw sienna?
It's raw sienna. Pure, clean, raw sienna. But it gets a little dirty when I put it on the paper. Not here where it's white though. That makes this nice yellow. So I went a little low. I'll fix that later.
Yeah.
Where I'm putting it into the raw, the Antwerp, it gets a little green on me. I'm just trying to get a little feeling of the yellow, trees, mountains in the background. And there's not really that much of that reflected in the water. So it's still really wet, which is good. It's what I want. Now what I'm going to do is make really dark green with my two favorite green colors, which are Antwerp and burnt sienna. Really thick. Hardly any water, almost all paint. And I'm going to put some marks in that are looking like pine trees. Well, it's very wet, so they're blossoming out. I'm trying to make them sort of irregular in that they're not all the same height and they're not all the same distance apart. So there's different areas of yellow showing different heights, but I do want it really dark. I like how it's blossoming, although I think it's going to blossom too much. I'm going to make even more paint. And this time, I'm going to make it a little more on the brown side because I can see a lot of brown up here. So the way that I make these marks is I hold my brush this way and I start at the bottom and then I roll the brush up. And it makes a little triangle, so I'm barely touching the tip of the brush. And I can just work those shapes in. I'm going to put another layer on top of these guys, but right now, while my brush is got this paint loaded in it, I'm going to put this reflection into the water with horizontal streaks. And where I have the high trees, I'm going to put some reflections down. Hopefully they're blurring. So I'm just trying to, if it's here, I come down low. If it's here, I go below. Here, I go below. So it's just really still sopping wet right now because there's so much water in my brush. I use that brown color more than the green color. So I'm thinking the reflection looks lighter, which it can do. It can become a lighter reflection. So now I have to just be a couple minutes of patience. And while I'm being patient, I'm going to sign my name. This is getting pretty dry down here. Bless you. Different brush. Now, the reason that I'm waiting is that I have to let this get to the exact right amount of water on the paper in the paint, where it's just got the right amount of wetness versus dryness. And it's because when I scrape it, I want the color to lift up. If it's too wet, I scrape it and the color drains back into the scraping, into the spot that's been scraped. So what I'm doing is I'm looking to see, and I can tell you right now it's too shiny. It'll go right back in, and I can just, if I even just over here, just do a little with my fingernail. I'm not lifting, I'm making it darker. I have to say, I'm tempted to just hit it with the blow dryer for 5 seconds and speed it. I would never recommend that you ever use a blow dryer on this technique. You just need to be patient. But because I'm demonstrating it, I thought I would give it a try. All right, I'm gonna try the nail clippers. We'll see. It's a first for me. So I'm gonna start my trees down here in the green. Oh, it's making a skinny one. Sort of. So it left a white line. And if I have that there, I need to have a reflection coming down. So exactly the same angle where it starts into the water. That was a kind of a skinny one. I'm gonna try this nail clipper. See if I can get a fatter tree. So I made that one lean into the painting. It's not smack in the center. Sort of made little bumps.
What part of the nail clipper are you using?
What of the nail clipper?
What part?
On this one I'm using this part.
Oh.
So the part that
The handle part. Or
the handle. I'm using the handle. I could break the handle off and just use it. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Making like a little group over here and a little group here. And it made the green on both sides there. Change the angles. I need really one big guy out in front. I'm gonna do this one bigger. See if I can get it. Go big. Go big or go home. And then I'm gonna put some little ones in, just the corners.
Boy, that looks nice.
What?
Looks nice.
Yeah, it's easy. If you can just get the scrape to work. And then don't forget a little bit coming down. And they have to be the same angle. They don't have to go all the way down though. I'm gonna put a couple more in. So all different distances apart. So if I put this right down the middle, that's a really bad spot. So I'll try here. And different heights too. They wouldn't all be exactly the same height in the water. And then from here we can add these scrapes. Hello. I'm not sure these are aspens. These might be pine trees that have died. And I think I need a few more. They're just scraping up so nice now. I did kind of a duo there that maybe wasn't my best move. All three the same, exactly the same distance apart. And then I put two. Oh, that's all right. It's a piece of paper. I can flip it over and do it again. Ah, I did it again. I'm so used to making my branch angles at 45 that I'm not making them very, very good at 90. And then there's one last step. When you feel like you've got enough, there's one last step, and that's to take your round brush or a rigger and to finish up these reflections. So I'm going to make them go, and then if I've got to try to make these same, and I'm going to squiggle it because the water is moving a little bit, so they'll get a little squiggly. Oh, that was too much of an angle. And then some, if I have a lot of crisp here, so I have to remember if it points down, this has to point up. If it's slightly up, it's slightly down. I have to try to reproduce it. And then that's the whole painting, just like that.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Oh,
That
goodness.
turned out good. All righty. There you have it.
I like it.
Let's see.
Can you see it, Arlene?
I can see it, yes. Nice.
I like that big one. It's the boss.
Feels like it should have been a little more.
What do you call it?
Oh, palette knife.
Palette knife, yeah. And it dried too fast, so I don't get a lot of
Put it
images.
up again, Chris.
Yeah, put it up again.
Well, I like the trees, the skinniness of them, and that your colors in the background are beautiful. And your scrapes down in the reflections, you got those angles all really good. I like that little yellow spot on the
This
right.
one here,
On
or that
no,
one?
Yeah, that one in the middle. Yeah, my eye kind of goes there. I like it. Very nice, beautiful colors.
That turned out great.
Yeah.
Penny, did you have one? Ah,
Wait a second. I want to pin her.
Oh, that's nice.
that is nice.
Oh, wow.
I like in the water that you left some white and you have the purple and the blue streaks and then the trees, the reflections. And your trees are spread out and they're little, and so it feels almost like a swamp.
I didn't understand that the white trees were separate from the green background trees. I thought they were all the same kind of trees. So I didn't make them extend high enough, really. Anyway, I'll do it again.
Oh,
No, I think it looks good.
I do too.
And it kind of ends up having kind of a misty feel to it. Like morning, vapor coming off the water, at least in the looking at it on my computer screen. It looks good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll go next, Mary Kay.
Okay.
Where is it? Oh, there we go. Let me.
Can you pull it back just a little bit? Nice.
I need,
Yeah.
I like how yours go all the way out. Those are some tall trees.
I need some darker at the bottom too.
Yeah. But it's not really necessary because it's kind of a, I can't, the word won't come to my tongue right now.
Okay.
Sort of semi-abstract.
Mhm.
Yeah, beautiful. The colors are gorgeous. Did you use bumblebee yellow or raw sienna?
Bumblebee.
Yeah, it looks pretty. I like it. Makes it nice and bright.
Yeah, I used Bumblebee. What was I supposed to use?
I was using raw sienna.
Oh, okay. Now I see that, yes.
I was admiring how you got the white marks in the sky. Mine, I didn't lift white in the sky at all. It must have dried faster or something.
Yeah.
I had a lot of water on mine to start with.
I tried, but it wasn't successful in that. It was
Yeah.
good. Oop,
Oh,
oh,
It looks nice.
it's
yeah.
nice. Really nice.
Oh, thanks. I'm going to do it on the back.
No, it just has a different feel to it, Dee. It's almost like it's in a different kind of landscape than the others, like in a drier
It looks like
area. What
Szabo.
I liked it.
You
Oh,
can
thank
look
you.
at Zoltan Szabo for sure.
Put it up again, Dee. Thank you. Oh,
That looks nice.
Yeah, I like your white streak too.
Me
Oh,
too.
thanks.
Yeah.
Hers really look like snags in the water. I like that. Very soft.
Oh, it's lovely.
Mhm.
I couldn't scrape it though, it dried up too fast.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. There's not a lot of time that it's the perfect time to scrape. It's really just about a minute or two.
Yeah.
I like your little black marks. Those are good. They're like little spots on the tree or birds or, you paint it, we'll name it. And I like your reflections underneath, the reflections of the trees. You got that in really nice.
Oh, thanks.
Good. It's a really good painting.
Well, I couldn't scrape, so I used some white paint.
Oh, sneaky girl. Very good.
I cheated.
Yeah, cheating, none of it's cheating. It's all different tools. Well, I call it cheating sometimes, but it's not really.
Well, I wonder if I have some white paint.
Oh, the colors are beautiful.
nice.
I love the shape of the big green trees in the back.
Uh-huh.
And I like that yellow watermark on the far right, or your far left maybe.
Yeah.
Right. And your shapes are good, and your little squiggles coming down. I like how you reflected that one bent one. Yeah, you got the angles of your reflections really, really accurately. Good.
Thank you.
It's a great painting. I'm going to paint a similar painting now, using the exact same technique, but different colors. And I'm going for a different feel. So I'm wetting it again.
Yeah, it's a tall color doing it. Yeah, there wasn't much when I was at your place.
All right, so now this one, I'm going to start with the bright yellows and then put the browns around them. So I'm going to start with bumblebee yellow. This one's very bright. Clean. And when I put it on the white paper, then it's really, really nice and bright. And I'm just dabbing it. I'm looking at a photograph that's got a whole mountainside of yellow and orange trees. So what I'm doing is adding these yellows. There's no sky in this painting. These trees are on a mountainside. So I'm starting by putting lots of yellows in. And then I'm going to use a color that I haven't used very often, which is New Gamboge. It's spelled N-E-W, New, G-A-M-B-O-G-E, New Gamboge. And if you don't have New Gamboge, you can just add a little bit of permanent rose to the yellow and you'll get the same color. So I'm just adding this orange. It's a light orange. I actually have a tube of the old good stuff from Anne. So I'm trying to get the feel of just lots and lots of foliage. Kind of random trees covering this hillside. When I get this all covered up, I'll scrape out some tree trunks. So I'm just dabbing it with the corner of my brush, making little splotches, really, just in this kind of in the shape of trees. I'm leaving the bottom white because I'm going to put some dark browns in there. I think that that's not bright enough orange. So what I'm going to do is make a nice bright orange, and that bright orange is going to be made with bumblebee yellow and permanent rose. When I add those two colors together, I get this nice bright orange, and I can even almost make it even a red with adding a lot more pink. And I don't want to go crazy with this, but I do want to put a bright tree, not in the perfect center, but I want a little bit more color in this one. There's one good spot. I'll put a little more up here. I don't know if I like that better. I kind of like the top one too. Well, I don't want to waste this paint. I'm just going to put some more on. Might just make it too orange. Now I'm going to rinse my brush. And I'm going to make brown, dark brown. The way that I make dark brown is I use French ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. And again, I just squished this out, so I get a lot of paint when I put my brush in it. And I'm trying to make, like the Eastern Sierra, I'm trying to make it sort of look like sagebrush and dirt and a dry mountain, not grassy. So what I want to do is put in these darks here at the bottom. And I want to kind of go over some of the yellows and oranges and leave some, paint negative around them. So what I'm doing is I'm painting the ground around the trees. And I'm putting it kind of in at an angle, so I feel like maybe the mountain is sloping. So right in here, I sort of painted like a brown tree, but what I was really hoping to do was put that brown in, and then it makes it look like, oh, where did I get that brown paint from? The other side of my brush. That the brown is behind those yellows. That's what I'm going for. That's a great place to put my name. Here in the corner. And now I need to put in more darks. And I want to get it really dark. And I'm watching I'm lifting my board up so I can see if I'm losing my shine yet. And I'm not. It's still shiny, so that's good. I can still keep working the paint. Wow! I just got a half a tube of blue. Okay, I'm gonna get some darks now. Boy, this is like oil paint. All right, I'm gonna go for it. I've got this brush loaded now. And I'm trying to paint around the trees. There's some, I don't know that it would be that dark so far up. I need to, wow, oh my gosh, this is gonna be dramatic. Okay, I'm gonna keep being brave and keep painting it around these trees. I want to just splatter and see what happens. Because it's just too, I'm liking that. That looks more like looking through the leaves. So I'm just playing with the background, and then I'll scrape those branches in. I'm going to add more water to this brush and touch my paper towel and softly put in a little bit more of this color. It's not as dark as the bottom. And these corners. Well, it kind of looks like a mess, but it's a pretty mess. And that's what I'm going for. I wonder if, you know, almost I think a little salt in the bottom of this would be good. I don't know if the salt works with these colors. Let's try a little salt in the foreground. This is going to make big blooms because it's still pretty wet. Okay, just one pinch of salt. And now I'm waiting for it to get that perfect amount of sheen so that I can scrape out some tree trunks. This part looks pretty dry right here, so I'm going to try here. I'm going to have it come out, start at the top of the darks. And these are aspen trees, not pine trees. So I'm going to see how this goes. Well, it scraped out a tiny bit, but not that much. So it scraped out the bottom and the top was wet, so it flowed back in. But that's not so terrible. I'm going to try this spot over here. It's flowing back in the orange. Mine's too wet. I'm going to mute it and blow dry mine just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to try again now. So I'm trying to get the look of aspens in the desert mountain. So let's see if I can get this to scrape. Oh, now it's too dry. A trick. Well, that's better. I don't want to have one straight up the center. I do kind of have a dark spot straight up the center. So what happens if I put one more over this? Oh, I just ruined it. I darkened that spot. Let me try one here. No. I dried it too much with the blow dryer to hurry up so I could show you with the demonstration. I think I better stop. That's it.
No, it's a,
Trying to pin myself and I'm not having good luck. Oh, here,
we can pin you.
there.
Pretty.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yep,
Yours lifted good. Your trees.
got it right at the right minute.
They're pretty yellow, but they look like trees anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
Very.
and I really like your darks, your dark darks. Yep, great little card.
Thank you.
What did you lift your trees with? A credit card or?
Credit card, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I tried the other two methods, the end of the paintbrush and the nail clipper. They don't work so well.
Yeah, I think the credit card worked the best.
Here.
Mary Kay, if we did it for a Christmas card, what colors would lift really well? Oh, well, I can't think of the name of the blue and burnt sienna.
Those will always lift. Yeah,
Antwerp
Antwerp and burnt sienna will
Antwerp and burnt sienna, they lift all right?
they'll lift. Yeah, if you use any pigment with PG7 in it, like green, blue, or Viridian,
No.
those are not going to lift. Those are going to just stain and stay put. Yep, we'll just have to get out our cards and our bookmarks and just try some things and see what happens. It's kind of not so different than PBO, but it just kind of, I don't know, quicker. Just paint it and then scrape it out.
It doesn't give quite such a defined edge on both sides.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, PBO gives you the sharp edge. It's when you put the PBO down, that's exactly what you're going to see when you lift it up. So you have to be very aware of that. Vicki, you look like you're ready.
Your Christmas tree up already?
Has their tree up all year long.
Oh.
Take it down. So I've been looking at this picture that I painted from today. I'm on a Facebook group called Highway 395 or something like that. And so that's where Clay and I are both from, the eastern side of the Sierra. So they're just, the colors I guess are really beautiful this year. So we're gonna try to go to Bridgeport tomorrow.
Nice.
And see the fall color. I think I'll take my oil paints and try to paint an oil painting.
Where's Bridgeport?
Bridgeport is, well,
On the other side of Sonora Pass.
yeah,
Where's Sonora?
Sorry.
it's due east of us.
Okay.
It's due east of us. Go over the Sierra Nevada, and there's no foothills over there, but it's just right. It's right as soon as you get out of the mountains into the first valleys. It's by Gardnerville or Minden. Gardnerville.
Gardner.
It's in California. Bridgeport's in California, but it's very near Nevada.
So is it a day trip or an overnight?
No, 2 nights.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's supposed to get down to 5 degrees.
Oh.
So there won't be any fall color after it gets that cold.
Ooh.
Leaves all over. So I think what?
It's not far from Bodie. And sometimes you see in the paper that's like the coldest place in the country.
Yeah, well, that's where we're going.
I love Bodie.
Couldn't find any place colder.
Yeah, Clay said we couldn't find any place colder.
It's snowing in South Dakota.
It's supposed to snow a little bit. I don't have change. I
Yeah.
might have change by the time we come back.
Are you camping out?
You have another one, Penny? Oh, just piece of paper.
No.
Doris, are you ready?
Asking if you're camping out.
We're not. We have a hotel.
Oh, good. Would be cold.
Okay, Doris, I have you pinned if you want to show us your
Are you talking about white ones?
Yeah. It's too
Yeah.
late to put some more white ones in.
I was hardly successful at all at getting it to lift. I got like 3 little scratches that turned white, and
Do you have any white paint?
yeah, I do
It
actually.
always works. I was just thinking that it looks to me like your trees are just about the same distance apart.
Yeah.
So if you put in a couple skinny ones, not in between those, but closer to one than the other,
Yeah.
I think it would help with that.
I'll give-
Sometimes the white paint doesn't stay so white. It kind of bleeds. The color will bleed through, but it's worth a try.
I will. I haven't done that at all. I haven't used the gouache or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
If you add dark ones, would it work?
You wanted me to put up again?
Penny wants to know if you added dark ones, if it would work.
Maybe.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe.
In the picture of Mary Kay that you sent, the picture, not
Yeah.
well, the one you painted, the top one on your screen right now.
Yes.
It's got some on the left-hand side. It's got some dark ones.
Yeah, because it was still wet when I scraped it.
Yeah, so it might
Yeah,
work.
so the dark ones would, yeah, that could work. You're right. I like those dark ones, now that you mention that. Oh.
Do the branches come off at a 45-degree angle on aspens or 90?
Aspens is pretty much 45,
Okay.
but they actually can vary quite a bit. So the ones at the top are usually about 45, but no, they're 45.
Okay.
I think those trees that Zoltan Szabo scraped into that lake were dead pine trees, and that's why they were coming off at 90 degrees.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Or he just faked it. I'm not sure there's a tree that actually looks like that. So it is, yeah. So we've been painting trees together for about 1.5 years or 2 years. And we're always talking about the angle of the branches. And so here's an example where we can recognize what trees these are just by the angles of the branches, because we're starting to observe that every time and think about it every time. So good observation, Dee.
Okay.
Fine up, Mary Kay.
All right.
The trees don't show.
A glacial moraine.
Moraine.
Am I saying it right, Dee?
I think so.
The moraine is when a glacier recedes, it leaves a hill of granite and dirt and a little hill. And so a lot of times you'll have big chunks of granite. They're very different sizes of granite in those moraines. So that's what the eastern side looks like. So you did it. Doesn't matter if you did it on purpose or not. It worked. It captured it. I like those dark spots. Yeah, very nice. So we've seen everybody's at least once. Shall we say goodbye early, or does somebody have another one they did quickly and wants to show?
I did one quickly, but
Ooh.
Nice.
quickly. Except when I tore the tape off, it tore the painting.
Oh, do it. Put it back up.
Back up and let me put it on the.
Oh, there you go. Oh, cool.
You
The
added the
trunk
black
came
spots?
out really good.
Thank you.
That is very sweet. Yeah.